This car is incredibly important to Infiniti, as it's the best-selling vehicle for the brand. That means the updated version has to be good.
So this is our first look at a 400 horsepower Infiniti. This is the Q50S, and under the hood we don't have a VQ engine, we have a VR engine. It's a 3-liter twin-turbocharged unit.
For the first time ever, Infiniti is offering up one of its vehicles with a choice between 4 different power plants. There's a 360 horsepower hybrid version, an entry-level model that will pack a 2-liter turbo 4, making 208 horsepower, and then the two 3-liter cars, which come in 300 and 400 horsepower flavors.
Now the main difference between the two, as I wait to, there's your turn signal. The main difference between the two is boost pressure, and the 400 horsepower engine also gets a dual water pump setup. That seems like the only differences. So I'm very curious, if you bought the 300 horsepower version, if you could just crank the boost a little bit and get near the 400 horsepower version. That would be delightfully cool.
The shift through the cogs happens by way of a 7-speed automatic, and this Red Sport 400 has a nice set of large steering wheel mounted paddles for when you feel like controlling the action a bit more tightly.
Now, one thing with Infiniti is they're always pretty conservative as far as their traction control management, their traction systems go. Here, they've relaxed quite a bit, and it's surprising and exciting. I just accidentally lit up the tires right then because I turned traction off. I wasn't even trying to do it right then, and I just did it. That's pretty cool. You can get this car sideways. You can do fun things with it. They had a little autocross set up earlier, and it was, I mean, the autocross itself was kind of boring, but it was neat to see the different driving modes of the car. There's, normal, eco, snow. If you go the other direction, there's sport and sport plus. You get a sharper throttle, you get tighter steering, you relax traction a little bit. Things like that. There's also a personalized mode where you can adjust tons of different settings to really get the driving mode that you want dialed in. Now, this specific car is fitted with an electronically assisted power steering system, and it's all right. It tightens up nicely in Sport Plus. It's not that great. There's not a lot of feel. I don't love electronic power steering systems, but they're the norm now rather than the exception. There's a different version of this car, though, that is fitted with the drive-by-wire, the steer-by-wire, really, the direct adaptive steering. Now, that I find a bit fascinating, and Infiniti has done a good job of refining that system. Its first iteration wasn't exactly a win, but it's getting better each time they work on it and improve it. In the version of it in the Q50S, it's not bad. There isn't feel in that system either. In fact, that one filters out feel, which I'm very curious if they could dial that back and filter some of the feel back through. Because one of the amazing parts of a steer-by-wire system is the fact that you can tune it. It's infinitely tunable, and I find that really neat. I think future hot rodders are going to get a hold of that sort of thing, and basically, what type of steering do you want to mimic? Write some code for it, and the car does it. Since this is a luxury, near luxury car, it does have a very nice cabin space. The leather in here is lovely. The seats are comfortable and nicely cushioned and supportive. I do like the dual screen system that Infiniti is using. The lower screen is actually beautiful. I almost wish they would make one big screen out of the quality of the lower screen, if that makes any sense, because the display on it is crisp and rather lovely, whereas the top display is just one that's been around for a while. So it's fun that the Q50 has come back to the enjoyment of the original G, sedan, and coupe. For a while it got a little bit stale as they were figuring out where to take the brand as it morphed into the Q and away from the G, and this is a return to the fun to drive, exciting Infiniti that a lot of us have come to know over the years. So this is just a first drive. It's a sneak peek at the car, so to speak. I only put 100 or so miles on it. Well, not or so, about 100 miles on the car. We'll get the car back in California for a full week, and that's where we'll break out the big cameras and do the whole fun review on the Hooniverse Highway Hooning Grounds. Until then, though, this is basically your first taste of the car, and so far, initial impressions, I like it. 400 horsepower under the hood of a sedan, that's awesome. I like that it's 400 horsepower and it's nothing insane. They didn't feel like they had to go crazy. There are so many high horsepower vehicles out there, and at times, they can be a little overwhelming. Like a CTS-V, that's so much damn power on tap. 400 horsepower is enough to have plenty of fun, but not intimidate or overwhelm, for the most part. I mean, you can still be a jackass behind the wheel. So, see? Like that. It just lets you step out and have fun. That's crazy. I'm shocked at how much play Infiniti is letting you have here. I could be wrong. With a press of the button, maybe it is turning traction all the way off, because that's way more movement than I would ever expect, especially from an Infiniti. If I wasn't on this random Texas road, I would light them up and show them to you. But see that? I just gave it throttle and it did it again. It's in Sport Plus with traction turned off. Now traction isn't fully off, but I'm amazed that it's lighting them up there. That's awesome. So I guess I will do it on this random Texas road. That's cool. Just take up both lanes, you know. I didn't want to use my full lane, so you have it. You use it. That's great. Did I say especially? I hope I didn't say especially.